welcome and greetings. Thank you for making time to attend the quarterly in-person meeting organized by the Rocky Mountain Chapter for the Association of Energy Engineers. Today, we will talk about energy management and where to begin the process. Our presenter for this topic is Adil Khan. Adil Khan is the Regional Vice President of AEE. He is an electrical engineer with a Master's in Business Administration and several certifications in technology applications. Adil is the President and CEO of Trans Power Company, a R&D and technology manufacturing company. Adil is involved in next-generation technologies and is focused on the inventing, developing, manufacturing, launching and commercializing game-changing high-efficiency patented technologies and solutions to commercial and industrial customers for the past 30 years.
Before we get into the presentation, let us share the mission and vision of the Association of Energy Engineers. The mission of AEE is to shape the future of the energy industry through networking, energy awareness, education, training, professional certification and recognition. The vision of AEE is leading the global energy community to meet the challenges of a clean and sustainable future. AEE is a non-profit organization dedicated to serving our members and other industry professionals who are working to improve energy efficiency to save energy, reduce GHGs, make buildings perform better, and help reach global goals for net zero.
AEE membership has many benefits. Each month we present free webinars from industry experts, discussing key topics relevant to energy professionals. Webinars offer the opportunity to gain continuing educational credits for certification renewals. The AEE annual fee is very reasonable. Anyone can join the AEE. First-time AEE members receive a 50% discount to join. If you sign up for the local chapter along with AEE membership, you will also receive the local chapter annual membership at $40. Please contact one of the directors if you have any questions or would like to sign up. The annual AEEs and the local chapter membership is a non-profit organization and is made affordable to all. Now that we are done sharing the information about AEEs and the membership benefits, let's get into the presentation today. Energy management is a process. It is important to know where to begin. Many of us have been doing it for a long time, and we do realize that it is important to share our knowledge and experience with young professionals and new certified energy managers. Today, we will share some basic information that creates a good starting point. The presentation today will include discussion and information on the following items: understanding utility bills, penalties in utility bills, introduction to power factor, impact of power factor on costs, and what to focus on inside your electrical network to reduce high energy costs from the utility. Here is an example of an utility bill. You will see several charges. We want you to become familiar with the line items on the bill. This is one of the first steps in the energy management process, leading into energy efficiency and savings. The most important terms to look at will be the kW and kWh in most bills. As we mentioned, the two charges that you see in most of the electrical bills are kW charges and kWh charges. The two charges that have become more commonplace are kVAR charges and power factor charges. Here is another example of an utility bill. Once again, we want you to look at the kW and kWh line items. These are the line items that will produce energy and dollar savings when you implement energy conservation measures or have good energy management processes in place. The kW charges on the bills show up as demand charges or peak kW charges. The kWh charges show up as energy or consumption charges. You will have several line items of charges, but the kW and kWh charges are the ones to focus on to get the most reduction or energy savings. The utilities have different charges for summer months and winter months. They also have different rates or charges for the time of day usage of electric power in your building. These are important factors to take note of. This bill is an example that shows kW charges and kWh charges as demand charges and energy charges. Energy charges is the same as consumption or kWh charges. A new term that we mentioned earlier has shown up in this bill. If you notice closely, there is a kVAR charge in this bill. This is a very important line item to pay attention to. The reason being, This charge indicates that you are being charged more than actual measured peak kW in your bill. This kVAR is just to draw your attention to do something to start the energy efficiency process in your building. Here is another example where the bill shows a kVA charge instead of demand or kW charges. kVA is the gross electrical power that the utility delivers to the building. This kVA is also known as the apparent power in physics. Sources of power are usually rated in kVA or amps. The Public Utility Commissions that makes the governing policies for the utility companies is mandating full disclosure on the utility bills. They now have to disclose the wasted or reactive power to inform the customer that they are being charged a higher rate or are being billed higher demand charges. The reason for this disclosure to enable the customer to focus their efforts on energy efficiency to reduce the wasted electricity that is generated and delivered to the customer. This slide shows another example of where the bill shows that demand charge is a kW charge. The bill also shows the reactive power or kVAR charges. This is a line item is there to assist you in focusing your efforts to work on reducing the kVAR in your building. We have mentioned kVAR several times in our presentation. This takes us into the topic of power factor. The presence of kVAR is the reason for low power factor. Low power factor in your building is an indicator that you are being charged a higher demand rate or higher value of peak kW. Xcel Energy has done a fine job of showing how the lower power factor causes higher demand in the bill for the end user customer. On a measured demand of 300 kW, the customer gets billed for 335.8 kW. This is because the power factor in the building is below the desired value as established by the PUC or end-user tariff agreement. By improving the power factor by 10% on a measured demand of 300 kW, the demand charges bill goes down by 10%. This can be a significant dollar savings for the end-user customer. Here is an example where the utility bill actually shows the measured demand kW and the billed demand kW. You can also see full disclosure of the power factor value that the utility meter is reading. The measured demand kW on the building location is 251 kW, but the billed kW is for 331 kW. This increased billing is caused by the power factor value of 0.88 that is below the desired value. The desired value of power by utilities today is 95% of better. Now let us get deeper into this term that we have been using in this presentation called power factor. What is power factor? As the term implies, the power factor shows the percentage of power that is delivered by the utility that actually did useful work. In other words, a power factor of 80% or 0.80 means that 20% of the electrical power delivered to the building was wasted in losses inside the building. The wasted power is contributed by kVAR, harmonics, transients, and electromagnetic frequencies created by VFD, UPS systems, AC to DC conversion or DC to AC conversion devices inside the building. This slide is a quick review of our discussion on what is power factor. This is the calculation of active power or useful power at a power factor of unity versus a power factor of 70%. The 30% wasted electricity could have supported additional loads of up to 249 kilowatts. Most of you already know that kW is equal to kVA multiplied by the power factor. In other words, the power factor is a value that shows the ratio of useful electrical power divided by the gross electrical power. Let us state it in another way. The active power divided by the apparent power is the ratio called the power factor. We can use the terms kW and kVA to define power factor. kW divided by kVA is equal to the power factor of the building. Let us illustrate the connected loads that contribute to a low power factor. Inductive loads, which in our modern world includes pretty much all equipment inside the buildings, contribute to wasted electrical power. This is the reason why rebates and incentives are offered to building projects to reduce the wasted electricity through energy efficiency measures, or ECM as you call it. Here is another significant impact of power factor in buildings. For those of you that are designers, you know that there are many incentives today to reduce the watts per square feet. The total kVA divided by the total square feet of the building will show the watts per square feet. This information also equates to ESG score, UE, or BTUs. Believe it or not, this is now part of the building standards measurements. Buildings that don't meet the established scores will be penalized heavily. This is the law now. Climate Action Sustainability and Resiliency departments and the state governments have started implementing the penalties for inefficient use of electrical power to encourage energy efficiency. We want to show the load panels that energy engineers should focus on to increase energy efficiency inside the buildings. Even though the average power factor of the building at the utility meter may be greater than 90%, you can dig deeper and get more efficiencies by focusing on connected loads, applications, and load panels that have low power factors. Today, we reviewed several terms used by energy managers in day-to-day work life. It is very important to look for these terms in your utility bills or electrical drawings. This will give you insights on where to start the process of energy efficiency and energy management. In doing so, you will reduce the operating cost and high energy bills in your buildings. This process is also the beginning of getting your buildings closer to net zero and making buildings more resilient. Thank you for listening to this presentation. For more discussion and additional information, please contact Adil at transpowerco.com. Adil is dedicated to sharing knowledge and community service. He will not charge you consulting fees when you reach out to him to solve problems or brainstorm your energy efficiency ideas. He is a reflection of the AEE philosophy to educate and assist people work towards lower carbon emissions by saving energy. Once again, thank you for listening. Having a wonderful day.